What's up, guys? It's Arsenal Garage. We got Brayden again. He's joining us today for shenanigans. What are we doing today?
We are doing my worst nightmare.
His worst nightmare. So Brayden is actually pretty good with audio. He's had some killer setups with stereo. So he's going to help me today put a stereo in the new project car, which is a Te72 Corolla wagon that we just got, which is pretty sweet. But we are going to be doing a junkyard setup. So it's kind of an odd thing. Brayden was opposed to the idea at first, but now I think he's kind of a little bit on board with it. We're going to basically be doing cheapest, nicest stereo build we can for most of the junkyard parts. We might pick up a few other used pieces depending on what we can find. But we're going to be trying to completely build a system mostly from the junkyard. So if we can find a head unit, then we need a head unit. We want speakers right now, so what we're looking at is we need to add door speakers. We want to do, I think we're doing like 5-inch, 5.5s in the front doors, the rear doors, and then we want to do 2 in the hatch as well for the trunk. And then if we can find it, we'd like to do an amp and a sub as well. So we're going to try to go full out, so we're going to see what speakers we can find. What setup, we have no clue. This is all going to be based off what's available. So should definitely be an adventure. Okay, so here's the new wagon. It's an 82 Corolla. It's pretty sweet. It needs some body work and stuff, but. So, Brayden got his window crank.
I found it.
We got to pass the window crank between that door and that door, but it's fine. So there is obviously a lack of stereo. And it's got like 2 4-inch speakers or something up in the very front, which just isn't going to cut it. Right now it's actually only got 1 4-inch speaker. One's missing. Oh, the power. Yeah, it's an automatic. That will change. Don't worry. We got plans for that. But plans are to put door speaker there, and door speaker down there.
What do you think you're doing? This is freaking paparazzi.
Hey, we made it. Pick and pull. It took a while over here. So, you want a Kia? Look, a Subi. For all the Subi bros. Want the Subi bros? You can be a Subi bro. Where's Brayden? There's Brayden. I said car heaven. What do you call it, Brayden?
Car hell.
Car hell. Okay. It's either way. I guess it is car heaven because I get dismantled. I like a Ranger. So we've decided to head over to the ricer section, as Brayden calls it, or as we both call it. All the little Japanese ricers, and start tearing through stereos and seeing what we can find. So we'll see. Alright, so we made it to the import section. We're going to start at this end and work our way down, just kind of checking things out as we go. What we got now? So I found some really thick wire. It's probably like 4 gauge. Yeah, and then it's got Kenwood speakers in the back. Of course it's in a Honda. Alright, Brayden, so how long were we in there about? You think like an hour, 2 hours? Somewhere in between an hour and 2 hours.
2 hours.
So this is what we found. Didn't find any head units or anything. It seems like they were all missing or missing their faces. But we got these 2 which are matching Kenwoods that are pretty nice. Got a single Pioneer, and then we got these 2, I think they're Kenwoods as well, that are decent. So we both actually have some extra 5-inchers. He's got Pioneers, or were the?
They're Pioneer.
I've got 2 extra kickers too. So we'll probably use these in the rear hatch, I'm thinking. The bigger ones, and then use.
I think the ovals will work better in the hatch.
So we'll do ovals in the hatch, somewhere around here, probably. Then we'll do the round ones all up in the front. So we're gonna look around to find either, I might just buy a new head unit. I'm gonna look on the local classifieds though real quick for like a sub and stuff. We're doing good. Alright, so just up by AutoZone, and we picked up this head unit. Brayden convinced me to get the nicer one. So this was 80 bucks. We got a few different miscellaneous butt connectors. And in the back, I don't know if you can see it, we just picked up a Sony, it's got a Sony amp and a Rockford Punch. 10-inch Rockford Fosgate Punch, I think is what the model was. Subwoofer. Just got that for 100 bucks, which isn't too bad. Dude said it's really good, so yeah, so we're gonna head home and get at it. Okay, so we just got back. Brayden took off to go get something real quick. He left at his house. Here's what we've got. So I know they don't all match. So we got, oh, I'm missing one of them. So this is everything we got. I know they don't all match, but 2 Kenwoods. I think they're 6x8, something of that sort. 5x8, I don't know. I've got a Pioneer. Those are also Pioneers, and those are Kenwoods. And then I've got those kickers. And me and Brayden had these 4 from me and Brayden. We both had those laying around with the grills. We've got a whole bunch of 4-gauge wire, and this one, which is like 6-gauge and signal wire. We should have everything we need, hopefully, for the sub. Got miscellaneous speaker wire there. I might need to go get more. Then we've got the subwoofer, so this is it in more close up. So it's actually a pretty nice box. It's a ported box. The Sony Explode 600 watt amp with a Rockford P1 punch. It's nice. It should do just fine for what we need. So next up is we're going to be taking off door panels and getting things ready to put in to the actual car itself. What's up, guys? Alright, so we have already started tearing into it. So we ran our power wire and our signal wire for the sub. So those are ran through. We basically just took the trim off, ran them down through the floor. And it's nice, there's already actually a plastic protective piece to run it through. So we're just going to run it all through there. Came up and we're going to clean it up, of course, and tidy this up and stuff, but that's already ran. So we'll clean that up. This is from the previous owner. He did some weird fog light thing. Gotta fix. So right now we're working on running new speaker wires for the front. That's what Brayden's doing. Doing a pretty good job. We're just gonna tuck everything up. It's a mess right now, all the trim's off. But I think it's relatively simple. There's not much under the dash in the way. So we're making good progress so far. The things you do to get speaker wires installed. That looks comfy.
Don't judge me.
You gonna sleep like that? Okay, so it's a little dark out. Fortunately, it's winter, you know. So we ended up getting all the speakers mounted so far in the doors. They don't interfere with windows. We've already checked. They roll up and down just fine. They're not hitting anything. They're just, we use some self-tapping screws. Luckily, they fit really well in door panels. So we're gonna do that. So right now, we're just pulling all the wires through. They're all should be, I think they're all labeled, so.
Yeah, this is the new one that I have to label.
It's the new one? Okay.
I haven't got that side yet.
Yeah.
So
and then after that, so basically I'm probably going to start wiring up the new head unit and getting that ready to go while Brayden finishes up that. Right now we're in the process of getting all these hooked up, all the wires tested out. I did get the power sorted out. It's kind of weird, they're all blue for power, which I've never messed with. That's just easy enough. So we got all the speaker wires ran throughout the car. The speakers are all mounted. So of course those will all be covered up, well, most of them. And Brayden did a good job with that. So right now we are just getting these sorted out, and then we do still have to figure out, because it doesn't have a cage to mount the stereo. So we still do need to figure out how the stereo is actually going to mount in the dash. Right now I'm just getting all these wire connections done, so that way if it falls back in the dash, I don't have to chase every individual wire. It's kind of a mess, I know. It's just kind of hanging around to test it, and we were having issues and it wasn't turning on. So we weren't sure. We checked all our connections, and it turns out it's RCA cable, or whatever cable you call them. So I have this one laying around here, which just goes to an aux. I plug in my phone, it works great. So if for some reason, I guess that has a break in it, you know, that's kind of what happens when you use junkyard parts. You run that risk, and that's all right. And Wally World picked up some new RCA cables, or twisted cables, whatever you want to call them. So we're gonna go back and give that a shot, and hopefully that's it. It's like 11:30 at night, and it is working. It's really quiet right now because it's late, but I don't know if you can tell, but it is working. So it's just a new RCA cable, so it's just draped over. Everything works. So I'm gonna just get it all cleaned up because I'm getting tint tomorrow, so I need to get it ready to go get tinted. But we're all good for tonight. It's a long process and it's all good, but it is what it is. So new $10 cable and fixes it. All right, what's up, guys? It's late again. It's been a long day. So as you can see, window tint, I got 20% and 5% on the back with 20% strip. It's freaking awesome. I love dark tint. It changes the whole look of the car. I think I might need some black wheels now. So I've been working on getting the door panels done. So I already got some of them done just to see, so I'll show you those. So I mean, it doesn't have the door handle or the window crank on it yet, but you can see it just has that cover on it. So it came out pretty nice. I mean, it's not bad at all. I think I can go back and clean them up more later. The rear, so I only have these speaker covers for the rear. I don't like them. It's definitely getting new rear covers, like similar to the front. I think those are ugly, but those are what I have. So those are what's going on the rear for right now, until I can get something more like those on. I've already gotten the front one done on this one. It's the same process on both ones, so I'm just going to show you guys how to do it. So this is door panel for this one. Basically what I'm doing is I'm using measuring points. So this is a measuring point, this is a measuring point, that's a measuring point. Because I can find them on here. So I measured it out this way to the center of the speaker, and I think it's like 1.25 inches. And then I went from there up to the center of the speaker, which was like 4 3/8. And I don't know if you can see them. Okay, you kind of can. So that's the centering point right there. I measured it out, up from here, over, up. Measured it in the angles from there, made sure it's all centered. So now it's centered. And then I measured how far out it needs to go. I need it to go to about this lip right here, the circle. And that was 2 5/8, I think is what it was. So I measured out, went around in a circle, and marked, just with a razor blade, all the little marks. Now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically just trace it real quick with the razor blade, make sure it looks good. And then I'll just go around and slowly cut into it. I got to be careful though, not to cut through, so I don't cut through the leather or whatever this is. You can see, went through, cut all the way to the edges, so now they're 4 separate quarters. So now the hard part is when cutting along the edge here, so you got to make sure you don't go too deep. If you go too deep, then you're gonna be able to wrap this around. See, because we're gonna actually end up wrapping it around. We're gonna cut it into slits and wrap it around the edge here so it's clean. So next. So basically, I might have to go back and see, there it is. So I got to go back and clean this up a bit more, and this foam just comes right off. And I get all that foam off and stuff, and then we'll go back with a razor blade and clean it up. So, but that's the basic idea. So I'm going to finish this and I'll show you what it one's done. Got that all done, so you can see it's got the flaps now. What we'll end up doing is we'll cut this into multiple sections so it folds easier, and then we're going to take it, right, we'll wrap it around basically, and then we'll glue it. It's real simple, but before we glue it, I learned after the first one, so what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the door and make sure it clears properly. And if I have to trim any more, it's easier to trim it now than to trim it later. So we're going to do that real quick. I did have to do a little bit of trimming. It was slightly off on my measurements, which offset the circle. So that's why you need to double check your measurements. That's the first one I was off that much. So just had to oval it out a little bit, but it's all good. So basically, go ahead and I slit all these. So now what I'm going to do is I got some spray glue. I'm going to spray this glue on it. I just have all-purpose spray adhesive. It works great. You don't need much, just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, spray the whole area, and then I'm going to stick it on. Okay, so that's all it is. Some of the cuts I have more depending on the area to help reduce stress. It's not perfect, but you know you won't see it because it is covered by a grate. So that works great. Like I said, with this one in the back, you do see it more than in the front. You don't even see it in the front because of how the cover is. This back one, with the funky cover it has, you do see it. So like I said, I do need to get different rear covers, but they'll do for now. So next up is we're gonna attach this all up, and then we're actually gonna just use self-tapping screws to hold on the cover. Okay, so that one's on. As you can see, these covers are just ugly. So new covers would make it look so much better. But basically, what you do is you line it up, you mark the first hole just with the screw, excuse me, or whatever. Take the cover back off, drill it already so it's ready to go, pull it back off, put the screw in, line it up, rotate it to whatever, tighten it down, and just draw the others real easy. So I'm just going to reassemble it, and then that's pretty much almost it. Alright guys, so I think we're pretty much done with this video. We got a killer sound system, everything works. You know, deck fits in now. I had to trim the sides, just use a saw blade, went in by hand and got them in until it fit, and got the speakers Both sides, they don't look too bad. Of course, there's the rear ones. And there's a sub back there. So it's a killer sound system. Like, it works extremely well. You know, tons of bass. Audio is actually really nice quality. I'm really actually quite pleased with it. It's probably the nicest stereo setup I've had. It's also the most I put into one. Now, I'm into this sound system about $250, which really isn't too bad. I mean, I had one friend who put $1,200 on a sound system. And this isn't quite that nice, but this is actually still pretty good. So it's got Kenwood head unit. It was like 60, 70 bucks. I got those are Pioneers in the front, I think. Those are my kickers in the rear. And then that's the subwoofer in the back, which is a Rockford Fosgate and a Sony 600 watt amp. Now, I didn't end up using the rear oval speakers like I said I was going to, because it doesn't have enough channels on the head unit, and plus we kind of just wanted to see how it was. Now it's actually really nice. If I decide I want to upgrade and make it even crazier, then I can always add those in. So, but for now, it's plenty good. And so, if I didn't buy those speakers from the junkyard, it would have been even cheaper, you know? And I've still got tons of extra wire. I did have to buy the new RCA cable. It was like 10 bucks. I'm happy with it, you know? It came out great. Okay, guys, so I just want to thank you guys for watching. This video probably seems kind of all over the place. Apologize I didn't document it better. I had a different idea in my head. It kind of came out a lot different than I planned. Because part of it was junkyard, some of it was new, some of it was used. So, I mean, did what I could, cheap as possible, still came out awesome. So, you know, it just shows you don't know what's going to happen until you go and try it and see what happens. And this, while it's still kind of expensive to some, it was a little expensive for me. I don't really like spending that much on stuff like this. I'm really happy with it. I'm glad I did. You know, it really isn't too bad. So, if you guys liked it, you know, got ideas how to improve it, etc., let me know. I'd love to hear it. And maybe think about subscribing, liking, commenting, whatever. You know, so thanks for watching Arsenal Garage, guys. You guys have a great night.